Hi, I'm Christy Preddy-Franzak, and I wanted to do a quick tour/guide of our Calming the Chaos classroom series. So this was a collaboration between myself and Barbara Avila from Synergy Autism Center in Portland, Oregon, and you can learn more about us at curiosity2u.com. But let's go ahead and dive into what this classroom series is all about and what you'll get. So the first thing you want to know is you're going to meet 6 little friends, and we've named each of these to relate to a very severe and challenging behavior that can bring chaos to anyone's classroom. And so across the weeks, you'll be diving into 4 of the tips in particular. That means 4 of the kids. And you get 2 bonus ones. So the biting and the screaming are bonus. You can download those at curiosity2u.com. And then know that we'll be meeting 4 other kids that are presenting challenging behaviors around refusal, when they drop to the floor, when they're overly impulsive, and even when they swear. And so each of the kids comes with a tip sheet. And the idea of the tip sheets, and I'll show you a couple of screenshot examples of what you'll find on the tip sheet, but they're designed to really not just be preventative, which is fabulous, but really what do you do to calm the chaos and really get to a point where kids can learn, where you can reteach, where you can repair the relationship. So every one of the tip sheets starts off with a developmental perspective, couching the idea of dropping to the floor or impulsivity from a developmental perspective, because many of these behaviors are quite common and quite typical. So how do we change our mindset, and or how do we deal with it when it's not typical? And I'll come back to that. We also talk about how do you collect information so that you know really the course of action that you want to take. But to be honest, we know that sometimes you're in the middle of the storm. So all of the collecting of information, all of the prevention is out the window because the kids on the floor screaming, the kids on the table swearing, the kids got their, teeth around your arm. So how do you really calm the storm and get to a place where you can then think about the other strategies? And speaking of strategies, there are tons and tons and tons of strategies in each of the tip sheets. There are 10 steps to each of the tip sheets, and within each step there's several different strategies and specific examples. And then particular to the examples that we provide and these kids that we're introducing you to, we're really thinking about what does this mean for kids that have disabilities, kids who have processing disorders, communication delays, cognitive delays. So it's not just a developmental perspective where we talk about, oh, this is typical for 2-year-olds to throw a tantrum. Yep, and it's typical for 4-year-olds to have a meltdown. But there's a point in time where things are not typical and where things have become so severe that they are interfering with the child's learning and their development. So we talk, and our examples and our strategies are all grounded in thoughts around kids who have disabilities. So here's a screenshot of just one section of one of the tip sheets. This is for drop to the floor Daniel. And again, remember, we start each one off thinking about what does this mean in typical development, and this will help situate the conversation among adults on the team to really understand what is normal, and then why do we get frustrated when a kid who has a developmental delay might be doing this more often or for longer periods of time. And then there are 10 steps again. And as you'll see in this screenshot, each step is kind of unpacked. And then there's example after example after example of what you can do in really specific ways to implement that particular step. And so you may not go through these step 1, step 2, step 3. You might jump straight to step 7 and calm the storm. So there's a kid who's being incredibly impulsive, or there's a kid who's biting you, or there's a kid who's swearing, or kids drop to the floor. What can you do to calm the storm right then? And then you can come back and think about how can I teach, reteach, repair, and re-engage or reinvite the child back to the situation. So the idea is that as you embark into this journey of learning more about how to deal with some of the most challenging behaviors, that you're really becoming an ambassador of peace, that this is a priority in your classroom. It's a priority among team members. And so we want you to take the tip sheets. We want you to process them, think about them, share them with other people, do some talking with other people about what have you seen, what have you tried, and then just get right in there and become an ambassador of peace and really take this idea of a more humanistic approach to behavioral interventions to an all new level, where our end goal is not only learning, but learning through peace. So we hope that you will check out more about Calming the Chaos at curiosity2u.com, and we wish you all the best.